Getting through airport security is only half the battle. The other half happens at the gate, and that is where airlines keep quietly rewriting the rules. Baggage fees jumped at almost every major carrier within the same week. Southwest ended a policy it had run for over 50 years. And one legacy carrier started stripping benefits from its own elite frequent flyers, not just its cheapest customers. If the airline rules you know are from a year or two ago, you are flying with outdated information, and outdated information gets expensive fast. These are 12 airline rules, changes, and bans for fall 2026 and beyond. What changed, when it changed, and what is likely still coming. Rule number 1. Checked bag fees are up across the industry. Several major U.S. airlines raised checked baggage fees in 2026, and some carriers now charge less when you prepay online than when you pay at the airport. Typical ranges right now. A first checked bag on major U.S. airlines can now run roughly $35 to $55 each way, depending on the airline, fare, route, and whether you prepay, with the second bag commonly $45 to $65 or more. Paying at a counter or gate can add a few extra dollars. International and partner flights may follow different allowance charts even on the same ticket, so always check the fare rules for each segment before you buy. Fees tend to rise when fuel costs spike, and they rarely roll back quickly. Plan for today's higher numbers to stick around rather than drift down on their own. Before you book, compare the total for a bundle that includes a checked bag against the base fare plus bag fees. On many routes, a mid-tier bundle beats buying the cheapest fare and adding a bag separately. Waivers and discounts are still common for elite status holders, co-branded credit card customers, and active duty military, but the qualifying rules shift, so verify before you fly. Watch oversize and overweight surcharges too. Standard limits are 50 pounds or 23 kilograms and 62 linear inches or 158 centimeters. Cross those lines and the add-on fees climb fast. Rule number 2. Southwest no longer has open seating. This is the biggest structural change in Southwest's history, and if you have not flown them since early 2026, the experience is genuinely different. On January 27, 2026, Southwest ended more than 50 years of open seating and moved to assigned seats for every passenger. The metal stanchions with numbered boarding positions are gone, replaced by digital boarding screens showing groups 1 through 8. Under the new structure, most fares let you choose your seat at the time of booking. The exception is the basic fare, where your seat is assigned at check-in unless you hold Rapid Rewards credit card benefits or tier status. The cabin itself is now segmented into 3 tiers. Extra legroom seats are located at the front of the cabin and in designated exit row areas, with additional legroom. Preferred seats occupy the rest of the front section at standard pitch. Standard seats fill the remainder of the cabin. Boarding order is now based on seat location, fare type, extra legroom purchases, and loyalty status, not on how early you checked in online. Passengers in extra legroom seats are guaranteed a boarding position no later than Group 2. If you are booking Southwest for a fall or winter trip, do not assume you can grab any open seat like you used to. Pick your seat during booking, and if seat selection matters to you, avoid the basic fare tier where you lose that control entirely. Rule number 3. Basic economy now punishes elite flyers too, not just budget travelers for years. Elite status protected you from most of the downsides of booking the cheapest fare. That protection is eroding fast, and American Airlines moved first and hardest. In December 2025, American eliminated mileage earning entirely on basic economy tickets. Passengers booking that fare now earn 0 AAdvantage miles and 0 loyalty points, regardless of status. Then in May 2026, American went further. As of May 18th, Elite AAdvantage members booking Basic Economy lost complimentary seat selection, complimentary upgrades, and system-wide upgrades. Every passenger on a Basic Economy ticket, Elite or not, now pays extra for seat selection. Later in 2026, American is also planning to move non-Elite AAdvantage members without a co-branded credit card down to Group 7 boarding on Basic Economy instead of Group 6, further reducing overhead bin access. Delta and United had already stripped most Elite perks from their own basic fares in prior years, so American's move brings all 3 legacy carriers into closer alignment. Alaska Saver still includes a carry-on bag, but Alaska tightened the fare in 2026 too. Saver fares traveling on or after August 1st, 2026 no longer earn Atmos Rewards points. If your company or travel policy defaults to the lowest fare, run the math on this one. On routes where the price gap between basic economy and the next fare tier is under $50, upgrading is usually worth it just to keep your status benefits functional. Check each airline's current basic economy terms before you book, since these benefit tiers keep shifting. Rule number 4. Automatic refunds are still federal law, but cash compensation for delays is not. There is a lot of confusion online about what U.S. passengers are actually owed when a flight gets disrupted. So let's separate what is still true from what changed. The automatic refund rule from the Department of Transportation remains fully in effect in 2026. If your flight is canceled or significantly changed and you reject the airline's alternative transportation or other offer, the airline generally owes you an automatic refund to your original form of payment. This applies even on non-refundable basic economy fares, as long as the disruption meets the federal standard. Refunds must be processed within 7 business days for credit card payments and 20 calendar days for other forms of payment. Here is what changed. In 2024, regulators proposed going further, requiring airlines to pay automatic cash compensation starting around $200 for cancellations and lengthy delays that were within the airline's control, similar to how the European Union's EU 261 rule works. In 2025, that proposed compensation rule was withdrawn and did not move forward. The practical result: if your U.S. flight is delayed for hours but you still fly on it, there is currently no federal law requiring the airline to pay you cash for your time, the way there would be on a European flight under EU 261. You may be entitled to meals, a hotel, or rebooking under an individual airline's own customer service commitments if the delay was within that airline's control, but that is a policy choice by the airline, not a federal requirement. Regulators have revisited this question before and could again, so it is worth a quick check of current DOT guidance if a major disruption ever affects you. Know the difference. Your refund right is protected by law. Compensation for a delay you still fly through generally is not, unless you are departing from a European or UK airport, where separate rules can apply on top of your US refund rights. Rule number 5. Basic economy. Carry-on rules still vary sharply by airline. Not all basic economy fares are built the same, and assuming they match across airlines is a common and expensive mistake. American Basic Economy and Delta Main Basic both include one standard carry-on bag plus one personal item. United Basic Economy is more restrictive on most itineraries and generally allows only a personal item unless you qualify for an exception. If you show up at a United gate with a rolling carry-on on a Basic Economy ticket, expect to be told to check it, often for a fee, at the gate rather than at check-in. Before booking Basic Economy on any airline, check that specific carrier's carry-on policy for that specific fare, not what you remember from a different airline or a previous trip. This remains one of the most common ways travelers get an unexpected gate fee. If airline rules are moving too fast to track on your own, that is exactly what this channel is for. Subscribe so you catch the next update before it costs you money at the gate. Now let's get into the boarding, seating, and battery policies that are catching even frequent flyers off guard. Rule number 6. Power bank rules are now set by airlines, not just TSA airport security screens your power bank for what it is. Airlines now separately restrict what you can do with it once you're on board, and this tightened significantly through 2026. A new International Civil Aviation Organization standard effective March 27, 2026 limits passengers to no more than 2 power banks. Power banks must remain in the cabin, and passengers cannot recharge the power banks themselves during flight. Airlines can impose additional restrictions. American currently limits passengers to 2 portable chargers of no more than 100 watt-hours each, while United and Delta require power banks to remain accessible rather than stored in overhead bins. Check your specific airline before departure because capacity and storage rules can vary. The safest approach is to carry no more than 2 power banks. Keep them in the cabin, keep them accessible rather than buried in an overhead bag, and check your airline's watt-hour and usage limits before departure. If your bag gets gate-checked unexpectedly, remove any power banks and spare batteries first. they generally cannot travel in checked luggage on any airline. Rule number 7. Vapes and e-cigarettes follow the same battery logic, but the in-flight ban is absolute. Vapes and e-cigarettes remain legal to bring on board, but only in your carry-on or personal item, never in checked luggage, for the same lithium battery fire risk as power banks. What has not changed, and is not likely to change, is that using or charging a vape anywhere on the aircraft, including the lavatory, is banned under federal law and enforced by every major airline. This is not a gray area, but it remains one of the most common reasons passengers get pulled aside by crew or removed from a flight entirely. If you are traveling internationally, check the destination country's laws separately from the airline's policy. Several countries restrict or fully ban vaping products on arrival, regardless of what the airline allowed on board. Rule number 8. Boarding groups are increasingly tied to spending, not check-in time. Across nearly every major U.S. carrier, boarding position is now determined by fare class, loyalty status, and credit card affiliation, not by how early you checked in. Southwest's new system assigns boarding groups 1 through 8 based on seat tier, fare type, and loyalty status. American is preparing to push non-elite basic economy passengers without a co-branded card further back in boarding order later this year. This mirrors moves United and Delta made in prior years. The practical result is that passengers who pay for premium fares or hold qualifying status often receive earlier access to available overhead bin space. Travelers boarding in the last groups on a full flight face a greater risk of having their carry-on gate checked. If overhead bin space matters to you and you are consistently boarding in a late group, budgeting for a personal item that fits fully under the seat, rather than relying on a full-size carry-on, will save you a scramble at the gate. Rule number 9. Seat selection fees are expanding to passengers who used to get it free. Complimentary seat selection has historically been one of the more reliable elite benefits. That is no longer guaranteed on the lowest fare tiers. As of May 18, 2026, American Airlines elite members booking basic economy no longer receive complimentary seat assignments, a benefit that used to apply automatically regardless of fare class. Every basic economy passenger on American, elite or not, now pays for seat selection if they want to choose their seat in advance rather than accept a random assignment. Southwest's move to assigned seating similarly ties seat location, including extra legroom rows, to specific fare tiers rather than offering it to everyone equally. The takeaway for fall and winter 2026 travel: do not assume elite status or an airline credit card guarantees free seat selection anymore, particularly on the cheapest fare available. Check the specific fare rules before you book if sitting together with your travel companions matters. Rule number 10. Family seating protections still vary widely by airline. If you are traveling with young children, do not assume every airline guarantees you will sit together, even after recent regulatory pressure on this issue. Some carriers formally guarantee fee-free adjacent seating for qualifying families. American guarantees that children 14 and under will be seated adjacent to an accompanying adult at no additional cost, including on basic economy fares, when its stated conditions are met. Alaska also makes a qualifying fee-free family seating commitment. Before booking a family trip on a basic economy or equivalent budget fare, check that specific airline's family seating policy directly rather than assuming a federal guarantee exists. If guaranteed adjacent seating matters more than saving on the base fare, a mid-tier fare with included seat selection is often the safer choice. Rule number 11. Miss the check-in or bag drop cutoff, and you can still lose your seat. Airline check-in and baggage drop deadlines can expire well before the aircraft leaves the gate. Arriving after the final check-in or bag drop window can mean losing your seat or your ability to check a bag, even if your flight has not physically departed and the gate is still active. Missing the applicable cutoff can mean losing your seat or being unable to check your bag, even when the aircraft has not yet departed. Build in extra buffer time for any international departure, and check your specific airline's stated cutoff, which is often 45 to 60 minutes before departure for check-in, and can be even earlier for baggage drop on international flights. Do not rely on the assumption that an agent will make an exception because the plane is still at the gate. Rule number 12. Fuel surcharges are back on more routes, and they are often separated from the base fare. Fuel surcharges never fully disappeared industry-wide, and they became more visible again following the spike in jet fuel prices that also drove the spring 2026 baggage fee increases. Fuel and other carrier-imposed surcharges still appear on some tickets, particularly international itineraries and certain award bookings. But for airfares marketed to U.S. consumers, mandatory carrier-imposed surcharges must be included in the advertised total price. These charges can become especially noticeable in the fare breakdown or on award tickets, where using miles may still leave substantial taxes and carrier-imposed charges to pay in cash. Always compare the total cash cost of two tickets, especially when using miles or booking international travel, rather than focusing only on the base fare or number of points required. Final airline checklist. Before you book your next flight and before you head to the airport, compare the bundled fare total against the base fare plus expected bag fees, since baggage costs have climbed sharply across the industry. If you are flying Southwest, select your seat during booking rather than expecting to choose one on board. Check your specific airline's basic economy carry-on policy, since it varies significantly by carrier and keeps changing. Understand that your refund is protected by federal law if your flight is canceled, but cash compensation for a delay you still fly through generally is not. Carry no more than 2 power banks, keep them in the cabin, and check your airline's watt-hour, storage, and in-flight usage rules before departure. Do not assume elite status guarantees free seat selection anymore, particularly on the lowest fare tier. Confirm family seating policy directly with your airline before booking if traveling with young children. Build extra buffer time into check-in and baggage drop, because missing the airline's cutoff can prevent you from checking a bag or even cost you your seat. The airlines that used to compete mainly on price are now competing on how many of these small rules they can monetize. The travelers who stay ahead of it are the ones who check the current policy before they book, not the ones relying on what used to be true. If you found this useful, the companion video covering the newest TSA and airport security rules is linked above, because getting through the airport and getting through the airline's fine print are two very different challenges.